I'm gonna watch the first little bit. I really have no idea what was starting from. And then I'll start talking about things.
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Alright. Doing unscopes, doing quick scopes. We're already up to at least gold, probably plat. Show me a quick scope and I'll even throw in diamond. Yeah. Ooh! Okay, but the sleep was spicy. So far there isn't too much to talk about. Just farm nano.
Keep you healed.
Your brig actually gave you a pack. This is at least plat. Oh. Probably it's around plat. So. Yes, you gotta rotate up with your team because they're about to turn the corner, and then they're going to turn another corner. But that doesn't mean you have to touch the payload or come anywhere near it. All of these people, they're bunched up shooting at your front line. So this is where all of their damage, all of their fire is directed. You don't want to be here. That's scary. I would come probably out over here where you have this nice corner. Yeah? And then you can cross to here to push up, hugging this wall. So they have to cross into open space to do anything to you. Never mind you're like behind your team. You can cross into here for cover. You can even get cheeky and sneak over here for like an anti-nade. If one of them comes over here, you'll see them coming because you're hanging out back there, right? Your brig might miss it because she's up forward a bit. Probably trying to proc inspire. Probably shouldn't be. Anyway. Yeah. Just like, it really helps to have, like, a mental map of where you're going to go. So you just have your pathing kind of figured out in advance. And, like, experience will help you adapt that based on, like, whatever's happening in-game. Oh, hey, Roll. If I were to submit a VOD right now, what's the chance of getting it reviewed in the next 2-ish hours? Let's call it 70%. There are 2 others after this that are promised, but anyway. So, oh, I need my pen. Oops. There we go. So, you have the cart path, yeah? Think about the corners. Corners are what you care about. There's a corner. Could even call these corners, because they're like decent cover, yeah? So you build kind of a path, how you're going to go. And try to path along the outside, not too far from your team. Like, you don't want to get split off, but like through cover and kind of away from where like the enemy is looking. If they got flankers, then yeah, maybe you play a little bit closer, but you still hug a wall that's like flush with that corner, so the enemy team has to enter open space. Like, anyone that enters here can get shot by anyone on your team over here, so like, they're dead. Can I spend 5k on a jump queue for me and Andre, except Andre's is a jump queue to second place? Sure. You'll have to explain to me what that means later, but yeah. So, anyway. Walk up, get one shot by the Junkrat. Unlucky. We do have Nano, though. Farmed it reasonably fast. That's really good. So, I want you to think about sightlines. There's this idea of closing angles. So, yeah, to make this crossing, you have to enter open space. Fine. Like, you're with your team. It's safe enough. You're probably not going to get flanked. Cool. Go for it. But don't hard scope here, especially not for that long. Either you hit those unscopes as you're running, or you cross to cover, and then here you can hard scope. Or, option 3, you learn to quick scope. Highly, highly recommend you start practicing that now. On a paintball, whatever, it's basically necessary from diamond on up, and it's powerful below that. Like, whoo boy. You want your quick scopes to be nice and clean. Yeah.
I have your back.
Yeah. Those would have been, like, reasonably easy unscopes to hit, at least most of them. If you were standing still enough, like there. You were just doing it. That's great. So you looked at the ground and aid yourself before realizing you didn't have the cooldown. Here, let me back up here a little bit. Again, we're crossing really close. We are tugging cover, which is nice. But, like, you heard him, you even kind of saw him in the upper left corner. At least go for the sleep. Like, yeah, it's a low success rate play.
I'll be watching over you.
It's hard as shit, but, like, also it carries when you hit it. So, why not go for it? You're about to die anyway. And that it just sort of looked like you panicked. And the fact that now you're on Mercy,
I'm taking care of you.
over the Ana, like, you weren't having trouble living because people were, like, constantly on the Ana. You weren't. You've only died twice, and once was due to an ultimate, unlucky, and the time before that was straight up just walking into a Junkrat. That you can avoid. So, like, the enemy team isn't really pressuring you on Ana at all. Mercy Brig for Rhine Zarya is really difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's really hard. You kind of made life really difficult for your tanks by swapping off of Ana, and there wasn't really much reason to, is what I'm getting at. Ana seems like a really fun hero to play. She is, actually. She's difficult. Her skill ceiling is through the roof. And she also, unfortunately, kind of sucks right now, at least at the high levels. Not that people... Like, there are Anas all up and down top 500. Like, you can carry with her. It's just incredibly difficult. Versus BAP, where you can throw Lamp out and carry. Got a game real quick? Alright, Andre. Alright. Anyway, enough of that. I'm just going to start talking about your Mercy now. Please do not yellow beam full health tanks. I need to, like... Sorry. I need to, like, write this. No beam... tank. Bad. Stop it. You're getting absolutely zero value. Your tanks are fine. They don't need any healing right now. What little bit they had taken would have gotten soaked up by Brig. But your blue beam, your damage boost on to, say, this guy, or even better, this guy. I'm just gonna do that 3 times, because... Holy crap, pocket your Echo. Blue beaming your Echo hard carries fights. Blue beaming any DPS, even if they suck, even if you don't trust your DPS, right? It means the shots they do hit count for more. And it means that when they feed, you can probably keep them alive, at least for long enough that maybe they get something done. You don't have to feed with them. Like, your beam attaches from really far away, so you can still play corners and cover and back, rather than playing open space like you are right now. You just don't need to be there. and it's very, very scary. But also, like, your goal in life, your entire goal as Mercy is absolutely maximizing your blue beam uptime. What that means is going to vary from game to game. Sometimes you won't get to blue beam much at all. Right now, you have barely needed to heal. A couple of times, yeah. Right now, sure. But the vast majority of this needed to be blue beam. And you've deprived your team of so much utility. They're taking a 5v6 while you're yellow beaming a full health tank. Oh, hey, DevCrush. How am I? I'm doing good. Is GMSR? No, guess my S. Oh. / sarcasm. Gotcha. Yeah. We're still figuring it out. I'll be real, the Mercy play so far has got me feeling a little bit more gold. I gotta know. It's in between fights, it doesn't really matter. Okay.
Spirits live within me.
You can't control that.
Do you believe in ghosts?
That was weird. He doesn't need your help. However, please tell me you have a DPS on an off angle. Well, he's riding cart and shouldn't be. There's your Brig. There's your Rhine. Where's your Echo? Oh, yeah. Your Echo's making a play. Your Echo's about to fly over here, it looks like. Which is... I really hope you don't think it's a bad play. It's actually really strong. She can just fly up here. She can get back to safety because she'll be super high up. She can spam them, do hella damage. And anyone that turns around to look at her, where she is very difficult to deal with and has really great cover and a great escape, isn't looking at your Reinhardt right in front of them or any of you guys trying to walk in. This Echo with a Mercy pocket hard carries this fight right now. You guys fly up and over, you take a more aggressive angle because you have Mercy now with her so she can live. And you start doing this shit, and you just farm from back to front. Like, easy. You really need to be with her right now, not doing this. He has his shield up, and he's full health. What is this doing? Oh, hey, game. Welcome. So we've been playing Guess My SR. Your Ana, in a lot of ways, looked pretty plat to me. This is looking like a lot more gold-silver. Where you at? I know you're new to PC. You came from console, yeah? Oh, say anything good? No. Like, I hope my manner doesn't come across as judgmental. Like, I was so much worse than this when I started. Oh my god, I was so much worse than this when I started. Like, we all start somewhere, we all learn. I'm just, like, very matter-of-fact in how I talk, but if you have questions, like, please ask them. 2800 and really new to PC? Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll see if you play more Ana. The only real problem with your Ana, from what I saw, was you were positioning too close. And you need to work on your quick scopes. Like, mechanically, learn to quick scope. Your problem on Mercy... Well, the other problem is you just swapped off too soon. Like, you were doing fine. You really were. If you weren't pushed up so far, you were doing great, actually. And no one was really contesting you. But anyway, as I said earlier, your goal on Mercy is to maximize the damage of your team. You are going for absolute, like, min-max to the best of your ability, your blue beam uptime. Blue should be your default, like, right-click first and then left-click to, like, swap to heals when somebody needs it. Because that extra damage wins fights. If your damage boosted Hanzo, or even better, Echo. Echo's a great pocket. Your damage boosted Echo has an easier time killing that Junkrat. Then none of that Junkrat's damage is in the fight anymore for you to have to heal up. It's proactive healing. You help the team win the fight faster, so you don't have to heal as much. So there are like established heroes that are best to pocket: Ashe, Echo, Pharah, etc. Hanzo, yeah, Zeta, Zeta with the list. Soldier's good, Junkrat's good, like, but the important thing is actually less the hero and more the angle. So if it's mid-plat, so like it could go either way. If your entire team is playing grouped up, then just whoever you think is outputting the most damage, blue beam them. If somebody tries to take a flank or go off on any kind of off angle, pocket the off angle, because you make off angles super fucking strong. So like, ooh, who are you pocketing right now? I didn't even see. Oh, here's Zarya. Yeah. She's on fire, but she's kind of doing fine. Yeah. So, like, anytime you're yellow beaming a full health target, your team is taking a 5v6 without you, essentially. Because you're just contributing absolutely nothing in those moments. And this is debatable. People have different views on this, but like, philosophically, the way I feel you should look at being a support is it is not your job to keep your team healthy, and it is not your job to save anyone's life. It is your job to keep your team in the fight as long as you can, and to get them back into the fight as quickly as you can. They need to get out before they die. That's on them if they stay in too long and feed. You can't save stupid. But if they are in the, like, if their uptime is there, like if they are in the fight and they're not about to die while fighting, then you don't need to heal them. You need to damage boost them so they impact more. If they back out to get healed, or if they start taking more damage, then yeah, you heal them up and you keep them alive. But keeping them alive and in the fight is your goal, not healthy. They don't need to be topped up unless it's like in between the fight and you're just topping people up. My top on console was 3800 DPS. Oh, nice. Yeah. If you ever watch like, sorry, I'll watch this properly in a second. If you ever watch like a top 500 DPS streamer, like while they're playing, just look at their health one game. Just watch their health bar for an entire game, and look at the, like, how comfortable they are staying in the fight at certain HPs, and then usually around like 120, 130-ish, depending on who the enemy is, they'll like back out to cover to get healed, yeah? But like, they're in the fight, they're fine at like half health, a little better than. Like, somebody getting 2-tap happens, like, 2 people shoot the same person at the same time, but then you can't heal through that anyway. The 55 a second is not a lot of healing.
Hello. Good as new.
It's very easy to shoot through a mercy pocket.
Thanks for that.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Alright, cool.
Score.
Yeah, if you find you have like...
3. Switching.
Here's the rank trick. Like... Oh, cool. We get to talk about Honest more. But the rank trick with Mercy is if you see a DPS that's feeding, do your best to hard pocket them, but do not die for them. Like, your beam attaches really far away, and it stays attached for 1 second. So you can even jiggle peek around a corner from, like, some distance while they stand out in main, you know, having a shootout, high noon, whatever. You're perfectly safe, but you can still pocket them, and hopefully they get something done in their stupidity, so it wasn't a total loss. And then you 180, and you GA back to your team where you're safe. This was a moment where I was like, oh crap, I messed up, wasted Valk. I mean, wasn't it last fight anyway? If it was last fight, I think it was fine. Oh, there you are. Cool. I think this is a fine spot to set up on Ana. Just as, like, things to think about. I'm not saying you have to do it this way. This is, like, my usual start on this map, but, like, people have different things they like to do. If your team's holding low ground, which they really shouldn't be, but they are, so, like, you gotta make do with what you got. Start over here to get, like, some early damage, sleep, nade. Well, probably not nade. Early damage, maybe you to sleep, whatever. When they get to the bridge, that's when you rotate out. Unless your team's, like, hard committing or something. But, like, once your team starts backing away from them, I should say, that's when you back out and you play this corner. And when you're back here, you can kind of, like, peek this and make sure no one's flanking behind you. And this way you can catch them out early. Another place you can start is just straight up back here. Play these steps or play this, which is where you are. The only real difference between these two is this gets you, like, a little bit of ult charge early at the expense of having to make a rotation. But I think the rotation's pretty easy and doesn't leave you out of line of sight of your team for very long, so it's worth it. You know, 3-4 shots, and then you run away. Whatever.
The payload.
I will say, don't hard scope back here. Like, back up even more. Like, back up a little bit. And try to keep an eye on this. I mean, I guess you got your Hanzo there, but, like, I always want to watch out for that. And when you're hard scoped, pressed up against this, you won't see anything until it's too late. And you can still use it as a corner and cover by just moving. Yeah? This is, like, great in a vacuum being pressed to a wall like this. Like, I love that you have that as a habit. Don't lose that habit. I'm pointing this out as one of those exceptions to that. Yeah? As a default, that is a very good default.
Happy birthday!
Yep.
Back in the fight.
They fed, you can't do anything about that. However, you are hard scoped. As a Lucio main, when I see an Ana scoped in like that, I giggle. I get so excited. It is so easy to murder you. I could land those headshots from across the map. You're not moving, and your head hitbox is placed forward. It's so easy. In higher ELOs, you won't be able to scope in for more than 1 or 2 shots if you can scope in at all. You'll have to hit those unscopes, and like I said, quick scopes. Play some, like, on a paintball. A lot of those modes don't let you hard scope, and just you gotta, like, rip the band-aid off with hard scopes. You're going to suck ass at them for probably at least a week, depending on how hard you practice or how often you practice. Like, it's rough. But then they kind of click, and then once you have them, it is an incredibly powerful tool in your belt. You gotta be doing quick scopes. Like, so I like practicing them on a paintball rather than in a game, because then if you suck ass, it's not quite as painful. And stop jumping. Jumping is a really bad habit. just kind of in general, it doesn't make you harder to hit. It makes it easier to hit you. Whenever you jump, you are locked in a predictable animation. Like, nice predictable arc. Even, like, in lower elo, like in Plat, hit scan can hit that very easily. Like, Plat hit scan is going to click on your head there every time you jump. Super easy. Plat projectile heroes, like a Plat, Hanzo, whatever, probably not consistently. But Diamond Masters, hell yeah. They'll hit those too. Super easy. You're just making your movement more predictable in those moments, and it's far better to AD and crouch spam rather than jump spam. Also, I should say that on Ana crouch spam, different heroes have different hitboxes, and also how much the hitbox lowers when they crouch changes. On Ana, it's substantial. On Lucio, crouching barely moves your hitbox at all versus just ADing, which moves it kind of wildly. So on Lucio, you just AD, and you don't crouch spam or jump spam. As an example. So here you get kind of caught out in open space, you fix it pretty quickly. Okay. You're making your life so difficult. Like, you are making things so hard for yourself. What's happening right now is actually really easy to deal with. It is so easy. All you gotta do, whoop, is back the fuck up. Come to here. Then you can see everything you need to see. The likelihood of somebody flanking you from all the way out here is pretty low, and if you keep your ears open, you'll hear it coming a long way off. And no one can get to you. And this way, like you said, you see everything. And since you see everything, you get to make informed choices, and you're just under less pressure. You're not jumping around. If you need to, like, hide from something, you just, boom, and you're good. Hit your reload, whatever. Boom. Hit your shots. And then when you start positioning like this, you will find your, it's not so much your mechanics improve, you'll just find that, like, you're hitting way more shots, because you will feel so much less pressure. This game will feel so chill. You'll just be like, Plats, easy. Click, click, click. Yeah. Whenever you feel yourself, like, having to turn a lot to see everything, back up. Because it is so incredibly hard to keep your awareness up and process everything that is happening with 11 other people who are all moving through space if you can't see them. It's hard. It's a recipe for getting confused and starting to panic and, like, hating your on a life. Hey, Razor. Hey, Vegas. Bro, I've done everything in my power to stop jumping as Ana for a while. I swapped my crouch and jump keys, so I crouch spam instead of jump spam. Then after 5 minutes, my brain learned how to jump spam with my pinky. Oh. I don't know what to say to that other than unlucky. Although, here, let's watch this. That's weird. The nade was nice, but you were in open space, so Hog has an easy hook. And you're also not aware of the Hog, because you can't look at him, because you're busy. The things in front of you that you do also need to look at, it's just too wide an angle. Alright, and now we're on Mercy. And I said this earlier, I don't remember if you had joined the chat yet, but Mercy Brig is incredibly difficult for Rein Zarya, or Rein Diva like you had before. You just made your tank's life hell. And I'm not saying never do that, never swap from Ana to Mercy. What I am saying is you swapped way too soon. You weren't actually under that much pressure. You were doing fine. And you were contributing a lot. You just lost the fight. It happens. Like, you guys killed a whole bunch of time. You're doing good. And now you have turned this into, like, your team slowly bleeding out. Because you have no burst healing. 55 healing a second is nothing. It's so little. And then additionally, you're pocketing somebody who's just holding a shield. So your team, like, you're just depriving your team of all that damage.
You have my thanks.
There we go. This is the play. Yeah. Okay. I need to rephrase, actually. If your Rhine had a proper pocket, and Ana, a Bap, a Moira, then what you just did is what you need to be doing forever on Mercy. Like, that was... Stick with that off-angle DPS. That is very, very strong. However, your Brig cannot keep a Rhine up, so even though you still want to prioritize blue beaming your DPS, you cannot do it anywhere where you cannot see your Zarya and your Reinhardt. You have to stay tethered to them, even if you're trying to beam other people while you are, because you're the only one who can heal them. You can't abandon them. That said, it was Nano Blade. Unlucky. You go next fight.
A clean bill of health. I'm taking care of you.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Hugging the stairs is really good. Hugging the wall there. Trying to keep them up as best you can. Now switch. Yeah. I have no complaints about that other. I got one. I actually... Bird's eye view this. Bird's eye view is a really great way to look at replays and get a sense of where everything was. The way you moved and crossed, other than the jumping, wasn't bad. It really wasn't. But look at how much you just crossed back and forth into open space rather than sticking to corners. You didn't get punished for it, and a lot of the time in Plat, you won't. You just straight up won't. They won't be aware of you. By the time you're entering these spaces, they've already tunneled on somebody else. Starting around Diamond and higher, though, the moment you enter open space, they're like hawks. They're like, oh shit, a Mercy in open space. And they will kill you so goddamn fast. You will be hard focused. Like, non-stop. So you really want to just hug those corners and, like, just don't give them the opportunity to hit the shot, you know? Here, I want to watch this Valk real quick.
Let's get you back out there.
I understand.
I mean, it was fine. Valk... People call Valk a throwaway ult. It's not that. Don't throw it away. But don't feel too bad, like, if you don't get some insane amount of value out of it. It's nice. It's good. It's like a miniature bongo in the sky. It helps you get sneaky reses off, which can be nice. But use it for its bongo in the sky capabilities, which is blue beam. Which you were doing. Like, I'm not even going to say you weren't. But, like, that's the goal. Maximum blue beam.
The battle continues. Damage increase.
Good. Yep, you do need to get up there with your tanks. Oh, yep. Like I said, if they had a pocket, you're making the right choices, but they don't, so it's gotta be you. Ed, you blue beam your Junkrat right now. Yeah? Your Junkrat was shooting somebody. Your Rhine was just standing there. I have no idea if your Junkrat was landing in shots. Maybe your blue beam makes no difference there. Maybe it helps him get a kill.
Ah, the wonders of modern medicine.
Thank you.
But it does absolutely nothing on a Reinhardt who is fine and is chilling in the back. There you go. This is the play of the moment. Pocket the DPS that is standing with the tanks so you can help the tanks get out because they don't know how to back up. That was not your fault. The last 2 times your tanks did this exact same thing, arguably you should have been with them. But this time you were with them. You started healing exactly when you should have, and your Zarya walked forward again. You can't save stupid. That was not you. That was the play. That was exactly how you needed to be playing this right now. Yep. You know what? Good and bad about this. The good is, you come to the DPS off in the back, you're getting away from the tire. The other good is you then split from him. So if the tire came from you, it wouldn't be a 2K. Junkrat is almost always going to try to tire supports or a Pharah. Realistically. The whole pharmacy if you can get it, but like supports are Pharah. So it's really nice of you to run away from your team a little bit. Don't int into open space though. The bad of this was the way you wanted to split from your Hanzo was around cover. Like, he backed up to alley, so you back up to here. And then, boom. Because then if you survive the tire, you can also survive the Valkyrie Mercy.
Immer unterbricht mich jemand bei der Arbeit.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
So again, yes and no. Yes, get the fuck out. No, don't abandon your team while you do it. They're in front of you, they're gonna die first anyway. And like, if you all die together, then who cares? But if you can get them out alive, that's better. So, like, heal them out or die with them. Don't, like, stagger like this one by one. Yeah. And, like, you don't have to die trying to get them out, necessarily. Like, if you know you can still get out alive, then get out alive. But you don't have to, like, completely abandon them either. You can still play safe and play cover and try to beam them as best you can.
Let's get you back out there. You should be at peak performance level.
Arguably, you should be pocketing your soldier. Oh, he was still coming from spawn, my bad. Honestly, damage boosting the rallying Brig, I don't hate it. Damage boosting the Zarya, I love right now. Because your Zarya is in, and she's doing hella damage. Hope.
Healing stream engaged. Damage increase. Helden sterben nicht. Let's get you back out there. This was not your time.
I would balk this, I would balk this, I would balk this. Never mind. Hold. Okay. Okay. You get the res off, it's great. Here, you got forced into open space. It's really scary. This is looking super losable right now. Yeah? You pop it right here. This is where you hit it. And then the Ana and the Hog are dead. The Ana gets raised, but now the Mercy is dead. You have now won the fight. The moment that happened, you won the fight, and you no longer needed to use any ults. And you popped Valk right then, and your Rhine hit Shatter. You guys have, basically, with a little bit of nuance. Yep. That was great. That was all you could do for him. You did what you could. He fed. He wanted to touch the spawn doors. Lucky him.
60 seconds remaining.
I forgot what I was saying. Anyway. Oh, right. If you're... If you're up 2 or down 2, the fight's over and you shouldn't ult. There is, like I said, there's some nuance to that. If you have, like, an ult like Nanoblade, if you personally as Mercy think you can get a clutch res that will turn the fight, then maybe you pop Valk to get the res off. Like, there's a little bit of nuance there, but more or less, if it's lost... It's so painful watching my VODs back and seeing all these mistakes that I'd punish so hard as DPS. Oh, that's right, yeah, you're a DPS player. Yeah, legit. Think about the things you hate when supports do, and do those things. Like, as a DPS player trying to get the enemy supports, what, like, drives you mad? What is just so hard to deal with? And then this right here, you hear him walking up, and you just need to be aware of the angles that you're exposed to, and think about where the enemy's going to come from. And this won't apply very much until a higher elo, but it's incredibly powerful at any elo, so you should exploit it as much as you can. Almost every part of every map of this game is built along 3 lanes. Intentional design choice. And there's even, like, lanes intersecting lanes sort of thing, yeah? I remember that Hog killing me and thinking, why the hell did I just stand there? Yeah, unlucky. So, the middle lane is typically called main. Yeah, makes sense. But then you have left and right. Or some people go 1, 2, 3. I like left, right, and main. Makes more sense to me. In higher elos, they're looking to control all 3 lanes, and if they see a team is not controlling one of these lanes, then they'll take it and they'll do exactly that. So, like, yeah, your off tank isn't sitting over here watching this like they should be. Unlucky. But then you just back up so you're not exposed to this lane. And think about the map in these terms, like the bird's eye view, where the lanes are, and everything simplifies. It gets so much easier. Like, things just make so much more sense.
A clean bill of health.
Healing 10 seconds.
Let's get you back out there. Damage Helden sterben nicht.
10 seconds.
Justice reigns from above.
The payload overtime. Round 2.
Okay, unlucky. Let me see one thing about this. Like, just run through it real quick. Like, this is all fine. That's good. Your Rhine feeds, you can't do anything about it. Yeah. Nah. I don't think there was anything you could have done that last fight. I think you played that fine. I should say on Mercy. You have a lot more carry potential on Ana is the other reason why you maybe would want to choose Ana over Mercy in a game like this.
3-3.
We all have a
Ready.
Mercy is really strong when you have a good pocket, like a good target to pocket. And I don't just mean like the hero choice, but also like that person is positioning well and is hitting their shots. Because then it's the dream. Then you're making a good player super powered. And then Mercy is actually really strong. Yeah?
2-1.
But
attackers in
short of res or
stop the payload.
damage boost engaged.
like it's just so hard to carry. Like it's res or it's shot calling, really.
Where would you be without
Like while your beam's attached to somebody, try to look around, look behind you, look to the left. Make sure you're not being flanked to the left, which hey, you are.
I'm taking care.
It's your job on Mercy to watch for that. Legit, fully. It is actually your job to be watching the flanks and the off angles to make sure nobody comes for you. It's also Brig's job to do that, Brig Mercy isn't a typical combo. If you were on Ana, like, it's a little bit harder for you, and Brig should be watching it. But, whatever. Mercy gets her beam attached, she doesn't have to look at her target anymore. And you don't have to look at the enemy either. What does you being here get you? Other than potentially shot if that Rhyme drops his shield or it breaks. Versus right here, where they cannot possibly shoot you through the wall and you're doing the exact same thing, but also your back is turned, so you're watching this and you maybe catch out somebody getting a little sneaky. And then you call that out to your team, and that's your other carry play. In this game specifically, I felt like I wasn't healing enough, which is why I switched off her. Which, as you said earlier, probably wasn't the best call with Ana, I mean. So if you feel you aren't healing enough, first off, heals are overrated. Proactive healing. If you end the fight faster, if you kill the enemy faster, you don't have to heal as much. So, you can go Moira for just pure healing output. Moira's really weak right now because that, like I said, pure healing output isn't actually what wins games. Bap is incredibly strong right now because he has high healing and high damage. Ana is okay, she's just very difficult, and you have to be landing anti-nades consistently. So, whenever your Reinhardt starts swinging on their Reinhardt or whatever their front line is, you land the anti and he gets a kill. Or, like, whenever your team engages, you land the anti then. The timing is important with us. But Mercy only heals 55 a second. She is poo-poo heals. She is about, like,
30 seconds.
healing people up after they've taken cover, or popping people up, like, in between fights. She cannot possibly keep anyone alive through focus fire. Ana at least has nade. Ana can hard pocket a Reinhardt because once you nade him, for the 4 seconds nade lasts on him, you're healing for over 100 per shot.
A speedy recovery.
So, like, the burst healing is just insane.
Overtime.
Ich kümmere mich um dich.
Unlucky.
Where does it end? You should be at peak performance.
Your soldier looks like he's doing work.
With it.
I would probably be trying to damage boost him, but... Yep. It was a bad barrage. Well, I guess you got the bridge, but your team's dying anyway. So, your Rhyme was probably going to die either way. He needed to keep backing up, but, like, that wasn't the time to go for a res either. You guys, you need to reset. You need to be able to go in a 6, and if you keep dying like this, you'll never get it. That got a little scary. The Valk was good.
Score.
I've already talked about
4
positioning in open
3.
space enough, I think.
Switching sides. Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3.
Alright,
2,
going for the pharmacy.
1.
You should be at peak performance levels.
Escort the payload.
Damage and
Your Rhine swaps Hog, but your Brig goes Moira. Unlucky. If either one of them had kept their original character while the other swapped, you'd be doing fine. Like Moira and Rhine or Hog and Brig.
I will not waste this opportunity.
But Moira, like I said, she just doesn't do a lot of damage, and this team doesn't need as much healing now. Open space, scary, scary, and yep. Your Pharah is coming up over here. You just GA to her, and then you fly up over here, hugging this as tightly as you can, so they can't really get to you.
Let's get you back out there. Stop. This will Sterben nicht. Damage boost engaged. Now see what I can do. Where does it go?
Yeah, your team just really needs to group up.
Your support has arrived.
They've done the math on this. Statistically speaking, you will win 80% of the 6v5s you take. Like, if you get the first pick, 80% of the time you will win that fight. Which means, first off, a couple of things. If you're the first one to die in the fight, like if you personally were the opening pick, you might want to think really carefully about whether or not you just threw that fight. And two, oh my god, ADHD, my brain just went blank. I don't even know. 2 is probably important. Whoa. Unlucky, she got the double tap. But yeah, if you give them the option to shoot you, they will. Flat players usually have problems with like consistency in their mechanics, so like sometimes they hit the shot, sometimes they don't. Diamond players, generally speaking, don't miss. Like, they got other problems, other things going on, but missing usually isn't it. So if you give them the opportunity to take your head off, they absolutely will. And you'll just get farmed. You gotta hide. There's a professional Overwatch player that I love named Moth. Amazing Lucio, but he started out as a Mercy OTP. A lot of people don't realize. His opinion of Mercy is a good game on Mercy is one where you never see the enemy team at all.
60 seconds.
Literally, why do you need to see them? Your team needs to see them. You need to catch people out that your team doesn't see, but if your team's looking at them, you don't need to. What are you gonna do, stare at them? So stay in spawn as Mercy, got it? Nah, just hide around corners. Your beam attaches pretty far. Hide around corners, jiggle peek if you have to. Play cover.
30 seconds remaining.
Die Wunder der modernen
Time
Medizin.
is running out. Press the attack.
You needed a doctor? Let's get the payload moving.
Hog is bad, you're lucky. He doesn't know the one-shot combo.
Rocket barrage incoming. Rains from above.
That was mostly unlucky, but again... Oh.
No. Negative. No.
You stand here and beamer. And then you can't get shot. And then when she dies, maybe you can come up to here, still in cover, and get the res, like right here. Sorry, watch that. Sneaky res. Good touch. Okay, and then you couldn't get a retouch.
Victory.
That was fine. It was OT.